for that beautiful uh, joy that is just radiant. You could feel it. Praise God for what He's doing. And, these camp meetings take faith. Those that plan these things, I know we have our camp meeting. It always takes faith in every aspect. It takes faith, for the economical challenge that you're going to face. It takes faith that those that are saying that will come and be blessed. But we've seen just like now how the Lord is the one that guides every step of the way. It's such a blessing. It's such a blessing. I will pray again. I think my sister prayed, Brother Ernie prayed. So I think we have the blessing of the Lord. I'm not being presumptuous. I just know the Lord's presence has been here and continues to be with us. So we're going to continue with the second class today. And like I said before, it's not just about trying to learn carpentry, although I hope those that have never really done anything, you can be motivated to begin to practice and to learn and to take that challenge of learning and working the mind in the direction of developing these skills that are very necessary in the country. Before, when people used to live in the country, um, the people that lived in the country, they did everything. They did the mechanic work, they did the carpentry, they did the agriculture, everything. They did everything. It's not until we started moving into the cities, that we started to forget about these different things. It's not until we started adapting to this Western modern civilization that we started leaving behind skills, normal practical skills that many times people had that didn't even think twice about it. And so the Lord wants us to bring us back to these skills because there's a blessing in them. And like I said before, even in carpentry, there's a blessing of building our character, right? And that's ultimately what we want to do. Before I get started, I want to continue to encourage a lot of you. I've talked with some of you, and you're still looking where the Lord would lead you. You're still trying to plan your project in your outpost. And I just want to encourage you, ask the Lord, not only ask the Lord, but take those steps to plan that first phase, or take a step, and by faith and begin to ask, who can be part of helping you, because we all need of somebody. That's the way the Lord, that's why it's service, because we need to serve each other and we need to serve the Lord as well. But we all need of somebody. Nobody can say, I need of nobody. We all need of each other. And so, there's a lot of resources. You're praying, you're looking. One of the books that I've come across in the past, I don't know if any of you are familiar with this, it's called Strategic Relocation. Is anybody familiar with this book? Okay, this book, you can take a picture of it, you can look at it if you want. It gives you, here in the United States, every possible thought, that you may have as a question in terms of, the area, how expensive it is, how to avoid areas where there's possibly, these military bases, and you have these sonic booms in the area. It talks about crime levels. It talks about a lot of things. It's very ideal if you're looking, to see where you want to go and move in the country. So I would recommend that you take a peek at this, and if it helps you, praise the Lord. Obviously, we want to always do our part in finding out where the Lord would have us be, but also the Lord is the one that's going to direct us. People sometimes call me and have asked me, and I'm sure they've asked other brethren who live in the country, where do you think I should go? Well, the blessed place you should go is where the Lord wants you to go. You should never say, I don't want to go there. I would rather be here, because then you start to limit what the Lord can do. The Lord can only work with our will. The Lord can only work as we give Him permission to direct our lives. Unfortunately, I've seen people that move to a place in the country, and it's been a very bitter, sorrowful, decision that they made based on what they really wanted to push and do. And later they're stuck trying to get rid of the property, and things just didn't turn out right. So I want to encourage you to keep moving forward, but keep moving forward with the Lord guiding you, leading you, because I'll tell you what, when the Lord does it, you're going to have a testimony, right? I thought I was going to move to the country. Before 2008, I did some math and I did some calculations. I had already begun to learn about moving to the country. And I said, if I liquidate what I have, if I liquidate some of my equipment and a couple of properties, I'll be able to get over $1 million. And that should help me get a piece of land, get settled in the country. And I had it all figured out, brothers and sisters. I said, at any moment I can do this. And I was encouraged, and I was, really loved the message, but I was stalling. So 2008, 2009, the work that my small company was doing was mainly new construction. I had almost 40 employees, and we were doing mainly new construction. So banks were funding these jobs. So banks completely stopped. Any of you know what happened? Banks completely shut their doors. They stopped funding. That means that every job that I had just came to a complete halt. I had a debt with other I had other debts that I needed to pay, which I found to be very difficult. And finally, what I thought I had just disappeared. The properties, that I thought I had that had this equity built in them, I had to sell for less than what they were worth, what I thought they were worth, and everything just vanished. It got to the point where I had recently gotten married, and my wife and I moved to the country. To make a long story short, with only $2,000 in our pocket from what I thought was going to be $1 million. See what happened, brothers and sisters. If I would have moved to the country with $1 million, you know what? There would have been no testimony. I would have gave the glory to myself, to my business, to the work that I did, to the things that I did, and the Lord had to strip me of those things and even of the money, so that I had to have a wilderness experience and go through trials. And to me, it was a bittersweet. I was not complaining, but I remember just struggling. We lived in the camper. We lived in the camper because we moved into a place like you got land here. We moved to a piece of land where there was absolutely nothing, and we had to live in a camper. So we had a generator. There was water with a neighbor, so I had this big 500-gallon container that I would have to fill up with water, and it was just just one thing after another. Was just an experience that I never thought I would go through, having built my own home in a suburb in Chicago, and thinking that things were going to just be perfectly fine. But that experience was necessary, brothers and sisters, because we all need to continue for the Lord to work with us. And it wasn't difficult leaving the house that I had just built. 7 years we were in this home. I had designed it, I had built it, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed building it, and I enjoyed living in it. But I felt that I was not attached to it when the Lord took us out of there. And so we cannot be attached to the things of this world. We cannot be attached to people in this world, whether it be son, daughter, father, mother. It doesn't matter. We need to go where the Lord leads us. And so I want to encourage you, brothers and sisters, don't let nothing get in the way of what the Lord wants to do and getting He has a place for you, those that you don't have a place already. And He also has, if you do have a place, He already has a plan to develop your outpost. But sometimes what we lack is faith. And faith has to also be works, right? Faith with works. So it's not just believing, it is doing. So I really want to encourage you, brothers and sisters, to continue to move forward. And if you face a difficult moment in your life, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's the only way that God will prepare us, to live in the country. Living in the country is not about moving the city to the country, brothers and sisters. And I had a little of a challenge thinking on these things, because we moved into a very small 780 square foot mobile home. It was what we moved from the camper to the mobile home. And, the mobile home was 38 years old. And I had a little bit of a struggle. Here I'm a carpenter. I built $1 million homes, and I used to, know how to build. And here the Lord has me moving into this, $4,000 mobile home. And, the Lord had to teach me, brothers and sisters. He had to teach us that we cannot, be attached to the things of this world. And so when you do plan to build in the country, and we're learning basic building skills, and you're getting your ideas of building, think simple, brothers and sisters. We are shown in the spirit of prophecy that we ought to build simple. Some people build fancy in the country, and they build these big, beautiful homes, and they build this beautiful country outpost that they love it so much that they don't want Jesus to come because they love it so much, and that's not where we're supposed to stay. It is just, we're just passing through, and we need a place, right, where we need to be able to just, get our characters developed and be ready for the return of Jesus Christ. It's also to get us ready for the crisis that we've been seeing and we've been hearing, we've been learning. So keep that in mind, brothers and sisters. Keep your mind focused on simplicity. Not in a complex home. Build enough so that you can now. Our homes are supposed to be places for refugees. You know that, right? Our outposts are going to be places for refugees. There will be people that heard of the message in the last hour, and will need to find places to go to, and we're going to have to open our doors to bring them in. So we need to prepare and be thinking of these things as we build our outposts. How are we going to help others when they come? How will they be working with us in the gardens and in the greenhouses? And how will they be helping us build whatever we need to adapt to bringing them to the country? That's why it's important, brothers and sisters, because we're going to have to adapt to these things when it's that time. Our outposts are going to be precisely what it is. You know what an outpost is, right? I know there's some military here, an outpost, right? When you're fighting a battle, you go to this little safe haven, right? And you get freshened up, you get ready to continue this battle and to be, to find some refuge there as you're in this battle. That's what these places are going to be, brothers and sisters. Our outposts are going to be these places. So as we're thinking of these things, I just want to encourage you, think of how we're going to be a blessing to others who come out in that last hour. All right, we're going to go ahead and begin with our class. And today we're going to start the small project that we're going to build with Brother Ernie. Brother Ernie, is Brother Ernie around? Brother Ernie, when you get a minute, I need you to put on the screen what we're going to be building. I forgot to download it. Yeah, if you get a chance, can you put it on the screen for me in the next 10 minutes or so? I'm going to go ahead and go forward here on this. It's not working? Can you see can you read the screen, brothers and sisters? You can't read the screen. It's not coming up? Okay, no problem. I'll go ahead and read it. This is found in Adventist Home, page 443. And again, we're going back to the carpenter shop where Jesus developed a character that is worthy of us following. It says, when others are impatient, fretful, and complaining because self is not subdued, begin to sing some of the songs of Zion. While Christ was working at the carpenter's bench, others would sometimes surround him, trying to cause him to be impatient. Wow. Isn't that amazing? Have you ever been busy working on a project and you have unexpected guests, or you have someone in the family trying to maybe provoke some kind of a frustration? Jesus had that same experience. But look at what he did. But it says, but he would begin singing some of the beautiful psalms. He would begin to sing when someone would want to frustrate him. How many of you here, as well as I, are still struggling with patience? Raise your hand. Okay, the rest of you are struggling with lying. Okay, because we're all struggling with patience, brothers and sisters. So you're struggling with two things, at least I know for sure. We're all struggling with patience. We're all struggling with patience, brothers and sisters. And so we need to realize that Jesus, because he came, right, in the form that he did, he had to face these temptations of being impatient. But he would sing some of the beautiful psalms, and before they realized what they were doing, they would join with him in singing, influenced, as it were, by the power of the Holy Spirit, which was there. Who was there? The Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit was in the workshop when Jesus was working. And, in Adventist Home, there's a quote that I love and I would share with my children very frequently. When we were working out in our outpost, whether it was gardening or whatever we were doing, I would remind the children what Adventist Home would say. How many of you have read Adventist Home? Praise the Lord. That needs to be I don't know how a family could make it without studying Adventist Home. Brothers and sisters, the Bible, it's only expounds on what the Bible, and we know this. The Bible is above every book. Our first work in family worship was always memorizing a verse every week with our children. We did family worship since they were little. Every morning we did family worship. And one of the study books that we had at home was Adventist Home. And we would study it with our children. We would study that book every morning with our children. And this way everybody would learn their role and would learn their part in the home. Father, and what's important, what's interesting is that when you read Family Home as part of your morning worship, as we did, I'm just going to share with you our testimony. My children would be able to see what my role is, and they would be able to determine if I was fulfilling my role or not. And they had the right to call upon us and to check us when we were not doing it right, in a respectful manner. And vice versa, we would always remind our children the things that we have learned in Adventist Home. And one of the things that I remember us developing in our home was we applied the remember The remember, we applied a principle called the remember theory. What we did was, Jesus in the Bible says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Where else does it say remember? In Ecclesiastes 12:1, right? Remember thy creator, right? So the Lord reminds us, right, over and over. So we implemented in our home the remember principle. And so if somebody was beginning to get out of line, rather than yelling at them, we would say, hey, Dad, remember, and I would calm down. Remember that we're not supposed to get worked up like that. Or sometimes I would remind my daughter, Miriam. And we made this decision in family worship. And family worship is where you structure your home. It's not just about, singing, and it is part of singing. It's not just about studying. But this is where the family actually structures their home. This is, in family worship is where you deal with situations that you're not, that you don't deal with, just during the day. In family worship, but it's so interesting how the Spirit of God is so anxious to be there and help the family be molded and work together. Many times we don't understand why our children are not listening, and why they are going in a different direction, or why things are turning out the way they do. Well, we never laid the right foundation, brothers and sisters. And when you lay a good foundation, you may have some problems along the way, but the foundation is there. And family worship is a foundation that must take place. And we need to understand this, brothers and sisters, because, this is going to be the outcome of what our children will be wherever they go, whether they become missionaries, or whether they decide to work in a certain field, until the Lord comes, whatever that may be. And so one of the things that I was directed, and thinking about this in Adventist home was, I was to remind my children that when we were working at home, that the angels would love to be present with us. Have you ever thought of that? That it doesn't matter if you're working in the garden, that the angels want to be present with you? If you're allowing, and I'm allowing my character to be worked on while I'm doing something, whether it be carpentry, whether it be any kind of work in our outpost, the Holy Spirit and God sends angels to be by our side. Now, we can also do things to shun these angels. Did you know that? And invite the wrong angels to be in our presence. So we need to be careful what we're thinking, what we're saying, and how we're doing it, so that everything that we do draws the presence of angels. And you will feel that. How many of you have had people come to your home and say, I just find such a peace when I come here. I don't want to leave this place. We've had families come and their children say, Dad, we just wish we could stay a little bit longer. I remember when we finished our last communion, there was one family that a brother came to us and said, my children said they don't want to leave. I said, praise the Lord. I wish that you could stay as long as you want, but he says, you got to get back to work. And so part of that is not what we have. I should say, is what the Lord has given us, is the presence of angels that are amongst us. And you need to make the place to be a happy home. Adventist home begins by saying our homes are supposed to be a piece of heaven. Where? On earth. Now, I ask you this question. Is your home a piece of heaven on earth? Now, because if it's not a piece of heaven on earth, you know what it is? I don't want to say it, but it's the opposite. It's on earth, right? It's either or, brothers and sisters. There's no in between. And the demons don't mind, the demons don't mind if you're pretending to be a Christian. But the thing is that we need to be those that we need to make our environment a place where angels from heaven are drawn to. Otherwise, we will draw the wrong presence of the wrong angels. So even as we're working and we're learning, we need to be patient. We cannot get frustrated and then throw things and kick things and I know some of us have had that. And I know I have gone through a lot of it, and I'm still going through learning process. And so please, brothers and sisters, let's keep that in mind. All right, what we're going to do today, brothers and sisters, we're going to go, and I'm going to ask for some help. I got in the greenhouse, I got 2 sawhorses, and I got a bunch of cedar wood. Oh, you know what, before we do that, I want to run something by you, because some of you may not be familiar with dimensional wood. Wood, I'm going to be brief on this, and then we're going to go to work on our project. Wood comes in what's called nominal dimension, and then and then you have what's called actual dimension. The screen is up there now? Okay, good. So we have a nominal dimension and an actual dimension when it comes to lumber. What did I say? A nominal dimension and an actual dimension. A nominal dimension, for instance, for a 2x4, And I think that's what we have here on the screen. Right. 2 inches by 4 inches. Now, originally, wood used to be come out of the sawmill 2 inches by 4 inches. But what happened with time is they started running it through planers and getting the roughness out of that board, and it started to reduce the actual dimension of the board, and it became a nominal dimension. And your actual dimension today, the conventional dimension of a 2 by 4, and I know some of you know this answer, is how much? 1.5 by 3.5, like it's on the screen, right? And so that dimension works the same with as you go into increments. You go from a 2 by 4, then you go to see that on the ceiling there, that's a 2 by 4. But again, the nominal dimension is 2 by 4. The actual dimension is 1.5 by 3.5, and it increases by 2 inches. That's how lumber is sold. So the next one is a 2 by 6, as you can see up here. A 2 by 6 would be what? 1.5 by 5.5, right? And then you go to a 2 by 8. What would that be? 1.5 by 7.5, right? And it could vary. Sometimes it's 7.25. The thing is that you don't get the actual dimension on the board because it's a nominal dimension. The only thing that does come actual dimension is when you get into, and here you have your different dimensions of the boards there that I was just mentioning. It. What does come in actual dimensions is your sheathing. Plywood sheathing, OSB. OSB is the Oriental strand board that it comes with particles. It's made with particles and glue, and it's a pretty durable material. It's come a long way. It is a much better material today to use than it was back about 20 years ago. And so you have sheathing comes in 4 by 8 sheets typically. You can have special order if you need them longer, but your typical lumber, your typical sheathing, comes in 4 by 8 dimensions, and the thickness comes anywhere from 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, 5/8, and 3/4, and so forth. But those are going to be usually actual dimensions on sheathing. So I just wanted to give you a little brief on what dimension wood looks like. So we're going to go ahead, and what we're going to do, just so you know, as we coordinate out here a little bit, we're going to bring those sawhorses out here. We're going to bring, Brother Ernie, were you able to put that on the screen for me? Okay, let's put that on the screen so that everybody has a visual on their mind. These tables are going to be for Brother Ernie's trays, so that he can put them in his greenhouse. Now, the wood that we're going to be using, now lumber, let me talk a little bit about different types of lumber. What usually you get in your what's called construction lumber, it's usually pine, fir, or southern yellow pine. Those are usually typical, the kind of lumber that you get when you go out. Spruce, is another one that you get on your typical construction lumber. But that lumber is not designed to resist the environment, the exterior environment. So if you wanted to use something like this, you would have to either treat it with an oil sealant, or you would have to paint it with a paint that is designed for exterior use. But in this case, we don't want to introduce any oils. We don't want to introduce any paint into what has to do with the preparation of these seeds and plants, because it's going to be food. So what we do is we use wood that does not decay as quickly as your pine does, which is cedar. In this case, it's cedar. You don't want to use treated lumber because treated lumber has chemicals. You see these posts here? These posts are treated posts. What they do is they put them in these tanks. And these particular ones, you see a bunch of teeth mark in them, right? What they do is they puncture teeth in there so that when they put them in these tanks of pressure and chemicals, they resist the decay. So basically, what those posts are made out of pine, but they compress chemical in there. Part of one of those is copper, so that they can resist from corroding. Okay, but we cannot use that whenever you do flower beds, whenever you do anything that has to do with your greenhouse. You don't want to use that, because that will release chemicals into your soil, or it will release chemicals that are not desirable, right? As Brother George has been teaching us about the quality of your dirt. But we can use cedar because it's a natural wood, and it naturally can withstand the environment. It's designed to resist, from rotting like your pine wood. So we're going to be using cedar wood. You're going to be able to smell it. It smells really good. A lot of people use cedar in their closets because they repel moths. Moths don't like the smell of the cedar. So cedar is used a lot in closets, for those of you that didn't know that. So we're going to take that wood and we're going to take it out here. Now, one of the things that we're going to do is, we got that on the screen yet, Brother Ernie? Okay, very good. So Brother Ernie put on the screen here the idea of the tables that we're going to build. We're going to build these tables, and then we're going to try to, and to try to finish it by tomorrow. Today we're going to probably start cutting some of the members. We're going to call the length of this table 8 feet. Okay, the 8 feet is going to be the length of this table, and we're going to build it probably about 32 inches high, 34 inches high. So we're going to build 4 legs at the same length, and then we're gonna fasten them with some screws. Remember, I mentioned about screws. Some screws are not designed to resist, the weather. We're going to use weatherized screws that will resist the wetting and the moisture. And then we're going to cut the planks that are going to go on top and on the bottom of these 2 shelves. All right. The width of this, I am not going to give you yet the dimension, because what I did was I bought cedar fence boards. And the cedar fence boards, we're going to take a dimension and we're going to try to maximize. It's going to be right around the 20-inch area, 21, 22 maybe inch area. That's going to be the width of the table. So the length is going to be approximately the 8 feet by about 22 inches wide, and then about 36 inches, 32 to 34 inches in height. That'll give them enough, height to be able to work comfortably. What we're going to do now that you have this image in your mind, but I had mentioned yesterday that we're going to do a little bit of practice. I wanted some of you that have not used a handsaw. I want you to practice in marking and in cutting, so that you get a little bit of an experience in how to cut a board, and we're going to do that. So I'm going to need some help for bringing the wood out. We're going to set it up out here. We're going to bring the sawhorse out here, and then we're going to be using some power tools to cut. For those of you that have a little bit more experience, or even those that you want to learn, I'll show you how to use a power tool, and they're all battery operated tools. And then we're going to be able to cut the boards that we need at the right lengths. Okay? So any questions right now? If not, let's go ahead. If I get some volunteers to bring the wood out, we're going to go out here. We're going to set up so that we can begin to work on this project. Cedar wood. It's a miter saw. It's a miter saw. Yes. Yes. I don't think I need it. Yeah. Okay. She said I should leave it on so they can hear. Okay.
I have a question. Why don't they just sell the wood at 1.5 and 3.5 instead of saying it's 2x4, but it's really at 1.5?
Well, because the actual dimensions sometimes can vary. Yes, we don't need the sawhorses. They need to bring somebody can grab those sawhorses. Yeah, they're gonna need to bring the sawhorses so they can put the boards out here somewhere. So if somebody can grab the sawhorses so they don't have to hold these on their hand. The reason they don't sell the lumber like that, sister, is because even the actual dimension can vary. It could be a 7.5. It could be 7.25. A 2x12 can sometimes go anywhere from 11 and 5/8, even 11 and 3/4, all the way down to like 11.25. So if they started to do that, they would throw a lot of consumers off by saying, you sold me a board that you said it's 11.75, and it's not, it's 11.25. So they continue to use the nominal dimension, a 2x12, and then you make that adjustment when you're installing it. That's correct. Yes, you're welcome. All right. So we're going to go ahead and take these boards, and yes, we'll make 2 stacks. Maybe what we'll do, brother, we're going to go ahead and maybe not put everything here so we have room to work. Why don't we leave those on the bed of the truck like you had it there? I think that was a good idea. That was a very good idea. And then I think there was Brother Ernie. Is Brother Ernie still around? No, ahorita. Brother Ernie, I thought I saw you I didn't want to cut this wood, but I thought you said you had some 2x4s back there. Can I borrow one of those 2x4s? It could be anything, 8 foot, 7 foot. I was going to use it.
They're actually being used right there.
Okay, I thought. You used them over here. Okay, I just need just one, so that I can get some to practice here.
Should we bring the little ones?
They're going to be too small. I wanted to be long enough so that they have leverage. If they get too small, then they may not have enough leverage. But thank you, brother. I'm going to go ahead and grab my square. And those of you that remember, who is going to be the first one to give this a try? Okay, you want to, Carol? You want to give this a try? So as soon as he brings that board over here,
I don't know what I'm doing.
that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. The idea that you're gonna take this. You're only gonna take about 1.5 inches off the end of the 2x, because I want you to be able just to square it. You don't have to measure anything. You're going to square it, you're going to scribe it, and then you're going to get a handsaw. And I want you to just kind of, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to cut the first one so that everybody can see the proper way to use a handsaw. Okay? And then we're going to go ahead and do that. As soon as Brother Ernie comes, we'll go ahead and do that. And let me talk a little bit about sawhorses. I like these in particular because you could fold them from here. You could pick them up from here, and they fold nicely. And then these legs down here, you can actually. Oh, thank you, brother. That's how these fold. And then what's nice about these is you can adjust these heights on these legs. Okay, and they're easy to travel with. I like the fact that they got wood on top. If I ever damage it or cut through it, I can always replace this. So this is probably my third set, so I've used these a lot. I like these a lot. There's different types of sawhorses. You can find what is most practical for you. But these I like also because they have a tray down here, and I can put things down there when I'm working. I can put material down below. Yes, brother. Thank you so much. You know what I'm gonna do, brother Jeremy? I'm gonna put these on the back of my pickup truck as well, just so that we have this completely clear. Thank you. Can somebody give him a hand with that? Thank you. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab one of the hand saws. Can you hand me those hand saws there? Thank you. All three of them. Do you want? You know what, brother? You can just set them on the ground too. Yeah, yeah. In fact, yeah, that'll work. So you remember about the teeth on the saws, right? I will go over that again. As I mentioned, this one has. I mentioned yesterday. This one has 8 teeth per inch. This one has 12 teeth per inch because sometimes this saw can also be used to cut a small piece of trim that you want to cut without being so coarse on the board. So you want to get your wood, not over here because it makes it hard to work. You want to get the wood over where you're comfortable. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and scribe this. I'm only going to take off about an inch off the end of this board. So I got my square, I marked it, assuming that I had already measured it. Now the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your hand on the board and you're going to hold your thumb up on the side of the board. You see how I have it? Okay, you're never going to put your thumb down near the blade because you could cut yourself. You want to keep it up high. Okay, you want to keep it up high. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to create what is called a curve. And I'm not like, now this, go ahead and use this one. I think it's, okay, so now I can put my hand here and keep it steady. Now I pull my hand away. Now that I have my curve, I pull my hand away and I can cut. I go a little slower toward the end so that I don't split the wood. Okay, see, I didn't lose any of the wood at the end, so I went a little slower. So that's what you want to do, Carol. You want to describe it. First, get your curve, then pull your hand away, and then begin to cut. Okay?
Oh, whoops, an inch.
Okay. So remember, this part of the square is going to rest up against your board. Okay? And you want to make sure that you put a slight pressure on this so you don't mark it incorrectly.
So that looks like about an inch.
That's about an inch. That's correct. Okay, very good. I'm going to give you a sharper saw. I think this one is a little bit dull. So this was a little sharper. I'm going to help you by putting an additional hand on this board, okay? Pull it, only pull it. Before you continue, sister,
Yes.
I want to let you know the motion of the saw is doing its cutting in the forward motion. So when you bring it back just by the weight of the hand and the saw. Your cutting is in your forward motion, okay? You're pushing away as you're cutting. Very good.
There's some big gloves.
What?
There's some big gloves.
This is a slow process.
That's okay. That's okay. Very good. Okay, pause right there for a minute. Okay, let's take a look at our line. So the other thing that I want to remind you is whenever you cut, you got to determine which is your waist side. The waist side is the dimension or the side that goes beyond your dimension. Let's say we had measured this at 7'9.5". You want to make sure that when you mark that, you cut on the waist side. If you cut the line or you cut into the line, now you've decreased the length of your wood. So you want to make sure you cut on the waist side. If this was your waist side, you started to encroach on your actual length. But that's okay. That's okay. I just wanted to point that out just so that everybody is aware of when they make a cut. Use the full length of the saw if you can. Very good. You're almost there, Carol.
You can do it, Carol.
I don't want to go all the way in the base.
You do. You want to go all the way. Just all you have to do is go slower towards the end so you don't splint the wood. Very good. Okay. Now see what happened here.
I split the wood.
Yeah, you went a little too aggressive, but that's what you want to. If you were doing something that you're worried about. Now this is rough framing. It doesn't matter. But if you're concerned about not splitting the wood, then you would go a little slower. The other thing you want to keep in mind. Do you see here? Let me get my square. But that's okay, Carol. First of all, give everybody an applause to Carol. Good job, Carol. Good job. You did a good job. You did a good job. Yes. Now here's the other thing you want to keep in mind. When you're cutting, part of the skill you're going to develop is that you want that to be also a 90-degree cut. You see what's happening here? Can any of you see the way the board is cut? See how it's on an angle? Okay. Now that's okay. I'm just keeping so that you keep that in mind that when you're using the handsaw, you want to keep the saw as perpendicular to the board as possible. Who else wants to try this? Somebody that has not tried it. Okay. Yes.
Remember you taught me the point about the X? Tell me about the X. You taught me the other day.
Okay.
Looking at the team, if you take
I
the
wasn't here in the
measurement-
first class.
Oh, okay, you were here in the first class. Okay, yes, I'll point that out in a minute. So, this is a square. It's to get a perpendicular line. You put this on the board. We're only going to be taking an inch off. You want to make sure this is resting on there so that you can get a right angle cut. If you're doing some framing or you're replacing some wood, you want to get a right angle cut. So then you'll take your pencil, you'll scribe that. Okay. All right. And then we could just lay this in there. And then you saw how I did the demonstration. Okay, right. The thumb's going to be so that you can create your curve. You're going to pull up at least 3, maybe 4 until you get a curve. The curve is basically going to be where your handsaw is going to sit in there so it's not jumping around. Okay? All right. Right. I'm going to keep it in. That's correct. That's correct. Your thumb is up high. So begin your saw down low.
Oh, down low.
Right, so that you can take the full length of it and create a curve. All the way up. Do that again. Use your thumb just to guide it. Maybe one more. Okay, now move your hand away. You put your hand further away, and then you put pressure with the left hand, and then with your right hand, you go ahead and start cutting.
Oh, you said to go full length.
Yes, full if you can.
And not to use strength, it's speed. It's speed. It's
Oh.
not, it's not.
Not a lot of speed, but you want to let the weight of the saw first pretend like you don't want to cut it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like you're almost doing it very lightly.
Like that?
Uh-huh. Okay, that's a very good cut. That's okay.
I feel like because I'm shorter, I don't have like the weight.
Okay, that's
for the
okay.
45-degree angle.
It could be less. It can be.
Is it at 45?
Yeah, you're fine. The angle is fine. If you're comfortable with that angle is fine.
And you said you do it slower at the end?
Yes, but you still got a ways to go.
This one.
Keep doing the full motion. Keep doing.
Just keep it in motion. Like that. Just keep it in motion. You don't have to force it.
Okay, very good. All right, very good. We'll have maybe one more person try it. That was good. That was a very good cut. She stayed on her waist side. Okay, you want to try it? Okay. Oh, you have a line. Oh, okay. Okay, very good. All right. Your pencil, that's okay. I didn't realize there was a line. Go ahead. No. Go ahead. That's all right. Yeah, go right ahead. Get your pencil. You can get your pencil. Make sure your square is up against the board. Very good. Okay. You can put your square down below. Okay, remember your thumb first to create your curve. Put your whole palm on the board, and you just raise your thumb up.
So, right here.
Yeah, so you want to put your palm on the board,
Okay.
and then raise your thumb. See how my hand is?
Okay, right.
That's how you're gonna do it, right?
Okay, you gotta get close.
Mm-hmm.
The other finger out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your thumb can go a little bit lower if you want. The thumb is just there to guide it so that it stays on the right side of the line, on your waist side. So pull it 3 times. Pull it once first. Not hard, not too hard. The full length, but you don't have to put a lot of pressure.
Okay.
Do it maybe 3 or 4 times until you get a nice curve in there where the saw can actually sit in there. Okay, that's a pretty good curve. Okay, you can put your hand out away from the saw, like that. Okay. Okay, now you can go ahead and now begin your forward motion because your cutting goes in the forward motion. Okay, but you wanna keep your saw.
Keep it on there.
Yeah. There you go. I'm gonna give you just a quick the way I did that just to see if it rings a bell. So you want to do this, sister.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay?
You messed up my line. It's crooked now. Okay.
Actually, it's right on the
Okay.
it's on the right side.
Okay.
Yeah, the line is on the right side. But you don't want your saw to be tilted. You want it to be you want it to be perpendicular to the board. There you go. Okay.
Man, you got me for this.
There you go. You can pick up speed as you get comfortable using the whole length of the saw.
How do you know I wasn't breathing, brother? You know your sister. You know your sister.
Every once in a while, it's not a bad idea to blow the sawdust off your cut so that you can continue to see your line. So I got a habit. If I'm cutting, I'll blow the sawdust away so that you can continue to see your cut. All right, very good. All right, you did it, sister. Okay, so we want to have someone else come and do it? Okay, why don't we go ahead and do it? Go ahead and you mark it. We're going to go about an inch away just so that it gives you enough and strength in the wood to cut it. That's good. Yeah, this is about an inch, right. Okay, all right.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now get your hand away from the board and put a nice solid hand on there. Okay. Try to use the whole saw. Okay. Right there. Use the full length of the saw if you can.
Make it look so easy.
All right. Very good. So building a house before, that's all they did. They was cutting, cutting every board with what? Anybody else want? Okay. Okay. All right. Go ahead. You can measure it up. We'll do a couple more and then we'll go ahead and get started on using the power tool for cutting. About an inch is fine. That's about good there. Yeah, just make sure that this is down because I've seen sometimes they put it there and they don't realize that this is not touching. Right. That's about an inch. That'd be sufficient. Okay. All right. Okay. First, create your curve. Okay. Remember, you put your thumb like this, so you're gonna put your hand.
I need to touch this?
Yes, your thumb is gonna run. Let me grab this. Here's what it looks like. Okay, my thumb is on the board.
Oh, too slow.
This is just to guide it because if I try to do it without it,
Okay.
okay. So this kind of just helps me guide it. Okay.
Okay.
This is just there to guide it, just slightly above the teeth.
Okay. So my thumb like this,
Yes.
and they go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I need to make that.
The curve.
I know.
Okay, but move your hand away from there now. If your thumb is not doing this, then you need to move your hand away because if that jumps around, it could cut your hand.
Okay.
Okay, so move this hand over here, put it down solid,
Okay, so
nice and
I
solid.
started from here first. Like
Yeah.
this? Oh.
Yeah, so pull it up first, and
Back?
then back, and then you cut. Now down,
Now?
now down.
No?
Yes,
From here.
yeah.
It's hard, eh? It's hard. Si no le doy res,
Va bien, va bien.
voy bien.
Sí,
No le doy. Parece que
Va bien.
La línea me está
va bien. ¿Es su suegra?
Sí,
Va bien.
mi yerno y
¿Se
mi
ve?
hija Isaura.
Qué bien. Va muy bien.
Es la primera vez que corto.
No le hace, está haciendo muy bien.
Ese ritmo, Camila, sí, ese ritmo, ese que lleva perfecto. Voy a soplar, pero de nervios.
Está cortándolo bien.
Sí, la velocidad.
Wow, muy bien.
¿Qué hago? Aquí, sigo así. Despacio, Lucho, para que se estire. Sí, no quiero que se me estire, pero no sé cómo es que no se estire.
No levante el serrucho, déjelo que toque cuando así mero. Muy bien, wow. Okay, I'm convinced that anybody can cut. Anybody can pick up this skill, right? Not because she's any less, but any age, anybody with less experience, anybody can learn how to cut. It's just a matter of practice. So we're gonna go ahead and now. I know we'll give some time after the class, so we can get moving on the project, and you can still work on this because I'm gonna use one of the sawhorses. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So we're gonna use a power saw over here. Okay, this is a battery operated saw. This has a slide. Okay, this is actually a new saw here. So we're gonna go ahead and start using I'm just gonna looking at for the lock on this here. So this is a miter saw. It's a battery operated miter saw. Yeah, miter saw. And this actually has a light in it, And then let's see, just the lock here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yep. Yes. So this has the lock right here. When you put it away, you can put it right here. Now this saw, just so you know, if you ever purchase one of these, it glides and it cuts. But you never want to put the board down and cut this way with it because the saw is going to want to run in this direction. You want to pull it all the way out, begin a circular motion down, and then into the board. That's what we're going to do right now. We're going to get started with the.
How many inches do you recommend to start with?
Well, this is actually a 7.25 inch blade. So this is only going to cut me up to a 2x6. It's not a big saw, but I brought this smaller saw for the purpose of what we're going to be building. I have a 10-inch saw, which you'll cut a bigger board, and it has a longer rail, which I can cut up to a 2x12. But this particular one is only designed to cut up to a 2x6. So I'm gonna.
For someone to start, what would you recommend to start with?
Well, again, it depends on the project. If you're going to be starting by cutting wide boards, then I would not recommend to buy this one. I would recommend to buy the one that cuts, a 2x10 or 2x12, right? If you're going to, let's say, for instance, you got a house and you got a lot of steps that you want to replace, but you want to invest in one of these. You don't want to invest in this one because this one will not allow you to do that. If you're going to make an investment, invest in the tool that you're going to use that's going to be practical. So the 2x12s that you're going to replace all these steps, and you want to cut them with a saw, you're going to want to get the saw that's going to actually cut those
So a
boards.
12 would be better because I'll cut everything.
A 10-inch
from
blade,
down.
right? A 10-inch blade, and everything,
10.
right? That'll cut from anything down. Correct, exactly. And so this one is a little smaller, it's lighter, and I brought it for the purpose, like I said, of cutting these boards over here. So I'm going to get one of my sawhorses over here, and remember what I said about it, about the adjustment on them. This one, not just yet. I'm going to put that to the side, and afterwards, people can practice with that. So remember what I said earlier about this sawhorse being adjustable? Let me have one of these. I'm going to grab one of these boards right here, okay? And I'm going to give you an example. If I was going to cut this board, do you see the problem I'm having? Yeah. Right? So what do I need? I need something to raise it up and keep it up high. Well, that's why I like these sawhorses, because they're easily adjustable. So what I would do, I would actually take now this sawhorse, move it back here, and I would adjust it. And see, if I have a good support for the board. See, that's much different, right? I could even go up a little bit more if I wanted to. And now I have if you could find the ground to be. But now I have the board that is being supported where this sits nice and flat on the tool. Okay, so it's very important to have this, because if you're trying to cut a little bit off this end and you're trying to balance that, as you're putting force here, your hand could slip into the saw and you could cut yourself. Okay, so I bought 6-footers. These 6-footers we're gonna make our two. We're gonna make our 4 legs out of the 6-footers. So can you jump up there, brother, and give me a tape measure? Thank you. We're going to measure these down. I'm going to get my tape measure, and I'm going to confirm the height. And then I'm going to have somebody use this saw. I'm going to go ahead and make a cut right now. I'm going to make a cut. I'm going to pretend I have my mark here. Now, before I use this saw, I'm going to do a dry test. I'm going to put it by the mark without pulling it, without actually starting the saw. So let's suppose that I have. Thank you, brother. Can you give me the pencil and the square? Let's suppose I have my measurement here already. Thank you. Let's suppose I have a measurement here already. Right? Everybody can see I got a measurement there. Okay, so I got my measurement. I want to make sure that it's sitting at the fence. This is called a fence. I want it to be sitting at the fence, and I want to get it relatively close where my blade is going to be. I want to make sure that it's sitting right. Okay, I got my hand here. I got it so that I'm gripping this. I'm not in any danger of getting my finger cut. Okay, then I'm gonna bring the blade down dry without running the blade, and I'm gonna see that right now. If anybody can see, can anybody look there? Is it where it's supposed to be? It's not, right? It's not. I have to move my board over a little bit. So I have to move my board over a little bit. It still needs a little bit more. That looks about right. Do you see that? See, now it looks on my waist side. Remember? Okay, now that I'm there, I'm gonna go ahead and start my saw. Okay, I have a little. I got in my box. I got a little black basket. It's a little black. It's to keep the dust from flying all over the place. Yeah. I don't know if it might be. Give me 1 second. I want to grab this. Is it there, brother? It's a little black. Una canacita negra. Let me see. Oh, I got it right here. Thank you. So this will keep the dust from flying all over the place. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I put it all over to you. So the one that will be cutting these, we're going to make these. Okay, he brought my tape measure. I think we decided we're going to go anywhere from 32. Well, we can go 34 inches. We're going to add an inch to that. Is that about a decent height, Brother George, for the tables? 34? So we're going to make two 34-inch boards out of this. Who's going to be my measure and cutter? Who wants to take this challenge? Okay. You want to cut? Okay. You want to measure too?
Okay.
Okay. 34 inches. I need a board 34 inches. So you're going to grab your pencil. Well, now here's the other thing. Excuse me. Before you do that, not always does your lumber come perfectly square at the end. So what you can do if you're going to do that, sister,
Okay.
you're going to check the end and see if see that it's square. So I'll take my square. I'll check the end, and it looks good. It's square. So I'm safe to pull my dimension now. 34 inches. Take that. Oops, sorry. 34. Okay, very good. When you make a mark, and you did a good mark, by the way. You see my mark here? Okay. What you don't want to do, which you did not do, so I don't think I'm saying that you did. You don't want to make a really thick mark. Because if you make a really thick mark and you go over it, now you don't have a consistency. So you want to be accurate in the mark, like she just did. Okay, she made a mark, and now she takes that away, and then you can take your square. Now, because the saw is going to cut it, you technically don't have to square it, but for the sake of you lining it up, I want you to square it so that you have a good visual when you put it up against the blade. So go ahead and grab your square and your pencil. Okay. Very good. Okay, now we can put that down there, and let's slide our board to the miter saw. Okay, and put it more or less where it goes. Now make sure that it's behind her. You're gonna dry cut, dry fit. That you're getting on top of the line a little too much, so you want to give yourself a little bit more.
So it's not supposed to be on top of the line?
No, you want it to be right at the edge of the line. That's the idea.
On the outside or
On the waist side, remember? On the waist side.
what is the waist?
The waist side is the side that opposite of your measurement, because you want, if you take anything,
yeah,
if
you
you
take it
cut
off.
if you cut into this, you're taking away from it. So you want to leave that 34 inches. You want to leave it clear. So you need to cut on the waist side, the side, because that blade.
Outside.
That's correct.
With that V?
That would be it right there. Correct. It's got a safety button. You
Oh,
first.
this one.
No. It's got a safety button right here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now, what she did was good. She stopped. Let the saw stop circular motion. Then you can remove it. Okay. You want to make sure that you're safe on that. So she got one. Who wants to cut another one for me? Okay. So we got one leg. You want to do it? Okay. So we got one leg already cut. You can use that right there to use it. You can measure it, square it.
So we,
You want to check that out?
Measure 34. Okay, so the way you want to check now, because she did cut that, we know for a fact that it's a perpendicular cut. We can trust it.
Okay,
Okay,
so now we're doing,
34 inches. We're gonna pull 34 inches. We're gonna get our mark.
Put it against the fence, it won't kick.
Okay, all right. Then you can go ahead and square it.
So you said, don't make a big mark.
Yeah, what I'm saying by a big mark, I mean this. So sometimes people have the tendency of doing this. This is not going to be used, but they'll do this. See that? Now there's not consistency. It's a sloppy mark. She didn't do that. Neither did the other the lady that did that. She did a nice small mark, and that's all you really need. But if I've seen some people go, they make a mark and then they do this, and now you're like, okay, where's the mark? Now you got a whole, eighth of an inch play. So that was a good mark. Okay. That's fine, but you got more of the body that could actually be beneficial if you put it on the actual board. Right. Okay. Okay. Then you slide that over to your mark, making sure that this is always touching. See, if this is like this, I almost saw you almost marked it, but you want that to be nice and snug up to the board.
otherwise it'd be crooked.
Otherwise, your line will not be at a true 90. Very good. Okay. You can put an X on the side that you're going to remove. You can do that. Okay. So now the board is a lot smaller and it's a lot lighter. You don't necessarily need the support anymore because cedar, you're not going to even hold it like that. So you'll be safe if you bring it here and you got the weight of your hand there, you'll be safe to leave this like this at this dimension, because there's not a whole lot of weight. I could even hold it, like that. So I couldn't do that with a 6 footer. Okay, so go ahead and grab the board and make sure that it's up against the fence, right? You don't want it to be, away from the fence. So
We're kind of amateurs. Wouldn't you say it'd be better if we did have some support?
We'll do that. for
I
sure.
probably would agree. Okay, yes, yes, yeah. You want to make sure that, right, that this is also, because it's so unstable because of the gravel, you want to make sure that it's not also lifting you up, so you want to make sure that this is flat. So you want to check everything before you cut. You want to make sure that you're not rushing through the cut. Accidents will happen if you rush when you're using power tools. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is before you start cutting, I want you to do exactly what you have. You have the saw all the way over here. You're going to bring that saw all the way where it extends. You're going to come down and then you're going to go across. Okay? So yes, that's good. That's good. You were just making sure that it's on the mark. Okay. Very good. Now the other thing is this. You never start the saw when the blade is touching the wood. You stay away from the wood completely until the blade comes up to its full revolutions, okay, before you actually put it in the board. Because what will happen is it'll jam or it could kick. hmm Right. Okay.
Oh, I let it go.
That's okay. That's all right. Now she got maybe just a hair off. For this table, it's acceptable. Okay. If you're trying to get a stud, a block in between, it needs to be more precise. Then you might be able to take it back to the table saw and get a little bit more off. But that's pretty close. That's a 16th, off. So that's okay. All right. Who wants to make our other two legs? Who can help me with? Okay, sister. Let's grab that other 6 footer right here, if I may. Okay. And we're gonna make our other legs right here. Okay. So we're gonna make sure that we have a perpendicular corner first. Sure, we can take that back some. Make sure you check your board to make sure that it is square. The best way to check that, because it's going to be the best way is going to be always keep this on the length of your board. Okay, so this way you can slide it up to there and make sure that it's nice and square. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? Okay, very good. Yes. Go 34 inches. Okay, get your square. The reason it's important sometimes to square it is because there could be another mark, accidental mark, or any dirt on the board, and you could get confused as to which is your mark. This wood happens to be nice and clean, but if you have wood that's got some defects on it, you may be confused by the mark. All right. You don't need that anymore because it's actually balancing itself. Correct. But what you want to do is you want to make sure it's up against the fence in the back. You want to bring your blade down and check it before you cut. Don't be afraid to touch the wood with the blade, right? Right on the right side of the line, correct. Okay. Now don't let the blade touch the wood yet until it gets its full revolutions. Very good. Very good. Okay, so she got one. Very good. That's it. Brother Chilo, you've been teaching her, huh?
Oh, I taught her wrong, dude. We were talking about that. I'm the one who does that mark. That real.
Okay.
She
All
learned,
right.
dude. Thank you.
Okay, no.
We're always in a rush.
Oh, you're always in a rush. All right.
So I
Okay.
had to try it.
Who's gonna
Even though
cut
I've
the?
done it before, I
That's
had
all right.
to-
That was good. That was good. Who's gonna cut the other leg for us? I saw another hand. Did you want to cut it? Okay. Oh. Okay. You cut the next one. We got some more. We got a lot of boards we got to cut. Okay. So there's our tape measure. We want to measure 34 inches.
But I need to. move
Yes,
closer.
we'll be closer. Ahí está bien. Ahora sí. 34. 34. Okay. Muy bien. Con una marca tiene. One mark is good, right? Because you're going to use a square now. You can usually put your thumb underneath it, like this. See where my thumb is? Sí, ve mi dedo este? Lo pone así para que se asegure que esté. Mhm. Very good. Okay. Make sure it's all the way up against the fence. And then bring down the saw without cutting first, just to see if you're on the waist side. Okay. Yes. That looks pretty good. Don't be afraid to put it on there. See how I'm pushing it on there? You can test it. So that looks very good. Now put your hand right here. Okay, right there. Now do not pull the trigger on the saw until it's revolutionary, and then you can cut through it. There's a safety button there. No, the one on the actual handle right there. hmm Very good. Okay, so she got her board cut at 34 inches. Now I made a mistake. I forgot to require safety glasses for those that were cutting. You had glasses on, but that's okay. But you should use safety glasses when you're cutting. Okay? And Brother Chino, can you me puedes sacar ahí en la caja roja? Tengo los safety glasses. It's in the red, in the box over there on the left side, on the other side. Yeah. Okay. Now we're gonna cut. What time is it right now, brother?
5:13.
5:13. We have until 5. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna just finish with this. So I bought these fence boards. See these fence boards? These are cedar fence boards. So I figured this would make a nice table, or boards for the table. They're not that thick. Just in case somebody else wants to cut, I'll have them. Thank you. So we're gonna use these to make the boards on the because it was inexpensive. I really didn't need it that thick, and these fence boards are only. I'm gonna burn an inch to look at the actual dimension. They're only ½ inch, and that's all we need. There's no weight on these boards, so this is more than sufficient. I didn't need to get a 1 by. A 1 by the way, would be 3/4, not 1 inch. 1 by 6. So this is a fence board that's a 6 inch wide fence board, 5.5 actual dimension. So now I'm going to try to divide this and get as many boards as I can out of it. So I got an edge here that's got the dog ears. That's what they call these boards. They call these fence boards dog ears. So I'm going to use it without having to use these dog ears. So I'm going to get my full measurement here. And I know I got some mathematicians. 71. If I divide 71 by 3, how much do I get? Okay, let's do this. If I divide 70 by 3, how much do I get? How many? 70 divided by 3. 20. Okay, let's do this then. Here's what we can do. I'm gonna take this board, and I know it's a 6 foot long board. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little bit of cheating here. I got a 6 foot long board. I'm gonna minus an inch. 3, 2, 4, 6. I can't get two footers in there, so I'm gonna just reduce that because I'm gonna have some waste. All right. So instead of going 24, I'm gonna go 23 inches, and 23 inches times 3 is how much? 69 inches, right? Is that right? Okay. Are you sure? All right. I had her stop shaking her head. She's like, let me double check. Okay. So because I'm going to have some waste, so I'm going to give myself a little play. And I could even go, because if I do 60, I can even go a ½ inch, 23.5 inches, because I'm only going to lose about an eighth. And let's try this. I'm going to go 23.5 just to maximize the length of the table. I'm going to go 23.5. Okay. Now, when somebody helps you on this end of the board, do not never hold it or lift on it. Your finger kind of falls in your hand because if you hold it tight, you get to bind on the saw. So anybody that is ever helping someone, I'm going to have someone hold this end of it. You're going to barely touch it so that it kind of falls in your hand. Okay. Never put pressure on it. So I'll have somebody stand on this end. You're going to barely touch it. Okay. Okay, that's one board. Thank you. $23 and a half. That's correct. Am I sure? I'm going to be short? Okay, we'll see if I'm going to be short. We'll see if the carpenter failed. Okay. Okay. I made it. See? I got the maximum out of this board, right? With just a little bit of waste. Whenever you buy material, whenever you use material, think of as little waste as possible, right? That's the best way to get as much as you can. So now we have 3 boards, 23 and a half. I'm sorry? It'll be good kindle wood, right? That's right. It's very good because it's right. Yes. So our boards are going to be how much for all those that are going to participate in the project? 23 and a half inches, right? We're going to be able to get these, and these boards are going to be the ones that are going to run across. We're going to space those, and we'll talk about it tomorrow how to space them. I'll have all the boards cut today. Whoever wants to hang around, I know we're going to have some family time, but if anybody between now and tomorrow's class, and we have some free time, you're welcome to help and get all the boards ready. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about how to fasten and put it together. Okay? Why don't we finish with a word of prayer? Father in heaven, we thank you so much, Lord, for even the tools that you provide, Lord, and the things that we are able to use and to learn, and the things that you, Lord, give us, the wisdom that you give us to be able to utilize, Lord, for the benefit of man, the benefit of others. Continue to be with us, Lord, and thank you so much for every class that has been taken care, taught in this camp meeting. We ask you continue to be with us. Your spirit continue to dwell with us. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.